Jimmy and Stiggs is a 2024 American sci-fi horror film written and directed and produced, of course, by Joe Begos. It stars himself and Matt Mercer. The plot follows a down-on-his-luck filmmaker who reaches out to an old buddy for help after he claims to have been abducted by aliens during a night of many intoxicants. Alright, hell yeah, I finally saw Jimmy and Stiggs, one of my more anticipated films of 2025. It just took me forever to see. I didn't even get to see it in 2025. I mean, it hit Beyond Fest last year and saw a theatrical release at the end of the year, but it was a pretty limited release, and I couldn't see it. I tried. I'm a huge Joe Begos fan, so I was gonna wait for the physical release because I'm absolutely gonna buy this movie, but I was just tired of waiting, so I rented it on Amazon. And while it wasn't my favorite Begos film, it's the most interesting on a production level, for sure. Now, I've talked about what I refer to as COVID movies before, and this is Joe Begos' COVID movie. It was shot over the period of 4 years, mostly inside his own apartment. Dude, after seeing this, I really hope you get your deposit back. The budget was around $175K, and I'm not sure if he crowdfunded it or if he got the money from Eli Roth or other backers. It was Begos' Channel 83 production company, but it was released through Eli Roth's the horror section company. I mean, I figure he probably could have saved some money by not filming on 8 and 16 millimeter film, which I appreciate, of course. But with all the crazy neon colors and stuff and lighting, I found myself, wondering if it really made a difference. I'm not a technical guy, so who knows? I always thought, film was vastly more expensive. What the fuck do I know? Also, before I forget, there were 2 new fake trailers that they showed at the beginning of this, like they did with Tarantino's Grindhouse double feature. And they were directed by Eli Roth, both of them. And both are fairly amusing, but nowhere near as cool as those Grindhouse trailers. They're just not going to reach that same level of cult status. They won't. So the beginning of Jimmy and Stiggs shows our lead Jimmy, played by Joe Begos himself, and he's having a rough time. He's losing faith in the film industry. His girl just told him to kick rocks. The coke and booze doesn't seem to really be helping either. In the beginning, for the first 5 or 6 minutes, something like that, I didn't time it. It's shot POV style too, so it has a first-person shooter feels. But like I said, it's only for a couple of minutes. They do return to it near the end of the film, like near the end of the third act, where it's way better utilized. Here early on, I'm not sure why he did it. It's probably just for fun. Come on, let's remember what this movie is. So we have a short runtime of like an hour and 19 minutes, I think it is. And it is literally, I would say, if I were to guess, 97, 98% action. It's a quick, simple setup, which is all it needed, a movie like this. So after Jimmy wakes up from the abduction, he calls his old buddy Stiggs, who had kind of distanced himself from Jimmy's volatile behavior, so they haven't seen each other in a while. And they hash things out by getting in a lengthy fight a la They Live. At least that's what I got from this. Although not quite that lengthy. I can't remember how long that They Live fight is. It's like 10 or 15 minutes. And this is probably like 4 or 5, but it's lengthy. My only complaint, and really I think my only complaint here, is that Joe Begos' acting, not that it's bad, it's not terrible. He actually is, he's definitely capable enough for a movie like this, but my issue is that he seemed to only have like one speed the whole time, which was full throttle. And I get it, he's completely drug-fueled through the whole movie, but I still found it kind of annoying, and the atrocious dialogue didn't help either. I mean, it was all written by Joe Begos, which I think he probably wrote his other movies too. But anyways, yeah, the dialogue here is, I guess, intentionally over the top, and it's supposed to be, it's supposed to match, the energy of the movie. I just think it kind of doesn't quite. Small complaint. Matt Mercer's Stiggs performance actually kind of helped round it out, since Stiggs is a much more mild-mannered character in comparison. I mean, if Stiggs' personality was closer to Jimmy's, this would have been unwatchable, or at least if his dialogue was closer to Jimmy's. In a way, I kind of look at this as like Joe Begos' trauma film. It's got a very trauma vibe to it. Bare bones, budget, lots of splattery gore, and completely unconvincing-looking aliens. They basically look like, the classic gray aliens, very obviously rubber and controlled by puppeteers, actually, surprisingly. I didn't actually know that until I watched the credits. But as far as the look of like the creatures and stuff in this movie, I have no reason, not to assume that it was all intentional. But I also think that it will likely turn off some people. And I'll admit, even I had to get used to it. And this is where I have to say that you really have to judge this film for exactly what it is. I mean, you can't compare it to something like Fire in the Sky, a film that was possibly an inspiration here, but that was a $15 million movie. Like I said, I think it's more trauma than anything. I definitely regret not being able to see it in the theater, even more now than I already did. I can't even imagine how fun this had to have been, because this is a 79-minute drug-fueled, splattery alien battle. And in true Joe Begos fashion, he isn't afraid to not play it safe at times. So I'm giving Jimmy and Stiggs a 2.5 out of 4 stars. It's a fun ride, but it is my least favorite Joe Begos film. For a similar film done a little bit better, in my opinion, I'd recommend Altered, which I feel like is a bit underrated. So feel free to check out my review for that as well if you want to. Cheers, and I'll see you guys at the multiplex. Subscribe right now, please.